Hi, and good morning or good afternoon, whichever time it might be for you. Hi, my name is Lisa Buddha, and I am an intuitive coach and environmental energy healer. I work with women who are shifting their relationships and want a more meaningful connection. I help women create a successful life and with fun, freedom, and love and fun. And my partner in crime and in a lot of other things is Cindy Carnes. Cindy, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here with Lisa today. My name is Cindy Carnes, and I help women entrepreneurs create unstoppable momentum and revenue while freeing up their time so that they can enjoy the fruits of their success.
So this is a conversation. We're just going to have a conversation. And today we're talking about intuition. So, Cindy, I have a question for you. What do you think intuition is?
That is such a good question, Lisa. I mean, the easy answer for me is to say intuition is, that voice in my head or that gut in my feeling, or that feeling in my gut. Something that is telling me, to do something or to not do something.
Perfect. Yes, intuition is what most people consider is their gut instinct. And that is actually a really great explanation for it. And part of intuition is, well, at least for me, is to actually use intuition. I use my intuition to actually have my life move forward. That's another way to hone and use intuition. When you think of intuition, most of the time, you probably think of something that's possibly bad, like something bad's going to happen. So your intuition told you not to do something or go somewhere or, get in a car with somebody that you don't know. that kind of intuition. Well, that's all great, but your intuition is actually something you can use to move forward and have your life work the best and highest for you, which most people, I would say, don't actually know that you can do that. When you're honing your intuition and listening for the answers that you want, that can actually help you in your life, in your relationships, even in your career. So that to me, a lot of time is the easiest, maybe not the easiest. I shouldn't say that because I've been doing that for a long time. So I think it's easy. Not always easy, but to keep listening, because intuition is truly about listening. That's what intuition is. Truly about listening to what is being said, felt. That is your intuition. So always listen for your feelings, which may sound weird, but it's not. So I promise it's not.
Right.
Okay. So most of the time in developing intuition, the easiest way, of course, that I have discovered that, and I had to discover this. This wasn't something I thought I could just go in and like go in a quiet place and just, close my eyes and go, okay, intuition, work. That's not
Right.
what happened. So I had to develop my intuition. And the easiest way I found is through meditation, which I thought, oh, okay, meditation does get easier. When I first started, it wasn't. But when you start meditating, you can quiet your mind enough to then start either feeling what's best for you, or sometimes you can you might just actually just get things that pop up in your brain. And that is your intuition. That's what starts happening. It's just like, oh, I'm supposed to, let's say, for instance, oh, I'm supposed to send a card to somebody. Okay, great. Go do that. And a lot of times it doesn't matter the why, but the action, that if you got something that an action you should do, just go do it. Then see what happens, because that to me is always exciting. So Cindy, why do you think we should develop our intuition?
Well, I think, as you said, Lisa, that's it's definitely that's a very good question, but just kind of like you said, it's basically a guide. It's something that we don't really tap into. And working with you, of course, when I first started thinking, trying to using my intuition, I was, like you said, I would ask, I'd get a question, and a lot of times I wouldn't listen. So I always say, my favorite line is that I am directionally challenged. I totally am. I've accepted it. People have tried to teach me how to go different directions, how to figure it out. It just is what it is. So my GPS is my best friend. But I would always say to people, do not follow me, because I will say, I've come to a fork in the road and say, do I take a right or do I take a left? And my instinct or my intuition, my gut would tell me, take a right. And I would go, no, I'm going to take a left. Now, on the motorcycle, that's not such a bad deal, because you can get lost and find some fantastic things. But if you're in a hurry, you want to get to your destination very quickly, that might not be the way to go. So it is a guide. And I've been so grateful to be working with you and some other intuitives to really hone into that. And so that, I think, just relying on that guide and surrendering.
Oh, nice. The surrendering. Oh, perfect. That's a great word, seriously, because the surrender is the trust. Like you start trusting that feeling that you're getting. It's just like, oh, I got that. I should do that. That's the it's like poking you a little bit, like, here, go do that. Here, go do that. That is actually the trust in not just in what's happening, but in yourself. So, and building that is amazing, because personally, I have built my intuition into a business. So, go figure. Which was not, when I started it, that was not really in my head. That I was like, when I knew I had intuition, and I knew, there were things from my childhood and stuff I knew, but I was like going, oh, sure, let's develop that and see what happens. Well, I didn't realize I could build that into a business, or build it even into how I have people in my life, how I have my relationships, all my intuition. And trust me, I've gone through stuff that my intuition was like, don't marry him.
Right.
And what did I do? I married him.
Right. I was going to say the same thing. Do not, in my case, don't date. Or maybe you should leave this relationship. And I'm like, no, I think I know better.
Exactly. It's like, no, this is supposed to be really good.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, like, it's not like that was a big, like, I didn't listen, and not like it was all bad, just though, honestly, if I, like, in hindsight, yeah, I probably shouldn't have married that guy, in hindsight. But
right, in hindsight.
And my intuition there were things that, I felt that I was like going, ooh, that's a little, Like, it's like, I was like, ooh, that's a little off. Ooh, that's a little off. And then, but all the little offs became a big like thing then.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is the that is the whole developing your intuition to actually guide your life. And that does actually work. And you can use intuition specifically in what I do. I have a process that you go through to actually keep honing your intuition and then moving forward in either your entire, you can always do your entire life, but like if you want to move forward in relationships or career or health or something like that, the process actually helps with that. So and then the whole thing of why we should do this, like what is really the reason to like hone your intuition and use your intuition. And for me, it truly was to move forward and to move forward in the best and highest way for myself.
Yeah.
I did a lot of my life for other people. You know, I was taught when I was younger that I should work. First off, if you want anything, you got to work for it.
Right.
I mean, like, you know, that's valid. That's a valid point right there. But as a woman, get married, have children. That's how you count. That's how you count in the world. And I was like, okay, so that's what I did. I wouldn't say that worked out all, you know, great for me. I am not married now. And, you know, I have a wonderful son who's an adult and all of that.
Right.
But it's just like, okay, well, had I actually listened or knew to listen, and that's what I should say. If I had known to listen to what I was feeling in my intuition, that things would have been different. My life would have went in a different trajectory. So Cindy, how about you?
Yes, for sure. I can definitely go back into time and different periods of my life and say, ooh, if I would have made a different choice in this point or that point, that the trajectory of my life would have been completely different. But but then I also look at where I am today and I go, it's definitely not bad, you know, and where I am, I'm super grateful and happy to be where I am. But I wonder, you know, for me, it was holding on to things longer than I needed to, because we know, you and I believe, right, that life is lessons and that we're learning lessons and that the universe is tapping us on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And so, and saying, hey, possibly pivot here or pivot there, which we can consider as our intuition. And so I can look back in different points of my life, and perhaps the universe was tapping me on the shoulder, or my intuition was telling me to make a different choice, but I continue to hold on to that, whatever it was. And then boom, something happens. And like the universe is like, you're not listening. It's like that feather brick scenario. Yeah. And then bam, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I should be doing something different. But yeah, I mean, really, once I released and, like you said, started listening and surrendered to, okay, there's something to this, and listening, even though I might not understand it, like you said, it could be, you know, do the laundry. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I really want to do 12 hours of work today. And I'm getting the tuition to do laundry. It could be for a whole different purpose. Maybe I get a different idea, or I change the direction of where I'm taking my business. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So whether you know, like believe in God, universe, source, whatever that is for you, you know,
higher power.
That to me, I mean, my personal belief is that there's a greater plan. And not that I don't have, that I can't, pick and choose, because I can. And but listening to the intuition is like, here, it's like it's serving up, like, here, this is really the best and highest for you. Go this way. Do this thing. And even if you're doing something, it's like, then you pivot and go, okay, well, this is what I got for today to do. Pivot, do that thing. Because you just really never know what could come out of it. I had, because I'm trying to think of a really good example of that, of what had happened. I had, it's something simple. I was going grocery shopping. I'm like going, the word is not, I'm trying to figure out
Right.
groceries. It's like going, so I was actually leaving to go grocery shopping. And I was going up to Cub, and it was like, no, don't go to Cub. I was like, but I always go to Cub.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? It's like, and it was just like, no, go. And it was like, truly, it was like, go to Lund's Byerly's, or go to, I was actually supposed to go down to Hy-Vee. So I was like, okay. So I went, and I was like going, okay, I'm just going to listen to this and see what happens. Like, what is this? So I went down to Hy-Vee, because Hy-Vee is not by me. So I had to drive,
Right.
which that's inconvenient for me.
Right.
It sort of bugs me a little, but anyway, I was like, going, okay. So toodaloo, there I go.
Right.
And I'm in the grocery store, and like, no joke, I run, first off, this was a while back. So I run into my mom, which, like, not that that's unusual. I talk to my mom all the time, but I was like going, oh, that's funny. Okay. But apparently I was supposed to run into my mom, and then her and I were walking around Hy-Vee together, chatting and everything. And actually it was such a nice conversation. It was casual and lovely. And not that doesn't happen my mom lives really close. It's not out of the ordinary, but back then, like where they lived, I wasn't always talking to her or, having, doing anything with her. And I was like, oh, okay. I was just supposed to hang out with my mom for a couple of days. That was basically the deal. Something simple like that. And it was so pleasant. That's the other thing. It made me feel really good, and made me feel like, okay, not only do I have people I love in my life, but I have people who love me. And, so there is that kind of pivot that you're like going, why? And then it's just like, oh, and it's like, and then be grateful. It's like, thank you. Like, thank you for that, because it was truly, I was truly grateful that I actually listened and did the action I got. So super simple stuff too. Sometimes those are the best things, the mundane things, going grocery shopping. Don't go to Cub, go to Hy-Vee.
Right.
You're like going, what does that mean? Don't ask, just do.
Yeah. Don't you think that too? It's like, you kind of what you said, we don't know what's ahead.
Right.
So, because I have an example too of it, back to my friend's GPS, and I have it on 99.9% of the time when I'm driving, even if I know I'm going to my friend Lisa's house and I know how to get there. But a lot of times, I call her Susie. Susie GPS comes on and says, yeah, you need to take this different route. And I'm like, I think you're wrong. I'm not going to go on a tour of the city. I just need to get to my friend Lisa's house. But I don't know what's ahead. And so an example of that is I was driving to Chicago for a bowling tournament, and GPS is like, you need to exit off the freeway and it will save you an hour. And it's like, what are you talking about? But we did. And what we didn't know is there was a car fire, just like
Oh, yeah.
less than a half a mile in front of us, which we would have sat in traffic for well over 2 hours. Cause I had other friends that were stuck in that traffic. And so then also when it comes to the things of me, like holding on, when it's like, yeah, your gut's telling you this situation's not right, working anymore. It may have been, right at the moment for a
Yep.
lesson to learn. I've learned that lesson and now it's time to move on, but it's like, I'm afraid of the unknown, whether it's changing jobs, changing relationships, moving, doing whatever. It's like, oh no, I won't have a job, or I won't be in a relationship, or where am I going to live? It's like, we don't know what's ahead.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's where that's surrendering.
Yeah. That surrendering and that trust in yourself and trust in the, it's like, that is to me also like a faith thing. If that's how people do, but it's like trust in the universe of that is correct and the best and highest. That whatever you're getting, best and highest for you for right now, and honestly, stuff does change. So honing your intuition and having that be, it's your compass in the world is really what it is. It's your compass. So when you're, whether you're trying to figure out something that's maybe hard for you, or even, something as going to Chicago or going to the grocery store, that using your intuition as your compass is definitely the way to navigate it. And listening to it makes it easier. And I am going to say easier.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for you. You may not know why in the moment, but it will be revealed. Right. So,
yeah. And like you said, you feel good. I mean, with the decision, it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Eating chicken versus steak tonight. I felt good, whatever that may be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So with all of that, what do you think you would, let's see, how do I want to ask that? How do you think you can use your intuition moving forward? Besides, of course, besides what you have learned already, but what else would be possible, or what other actions could you do with your intuition? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I'll answer how it makes sense to me. So basically it's building that new habit, creating a new habit. And so as we know, it's like I say humans, we're creatures of habits. It's like if we watch nature, our animals, they're creatures of habit. We do the same routine. And so now we want to build something new into our routine. And yes, we could say it's a task, it's added to your to-do list, whatever. But I like to just say it's just either creating a new habit or swapping a new habit. So for me, how I can continue to improve in using my intuition, it's remember to ask. So what I do if I'm not because I'll go through a bit long period of time, day, whatever, and I'm like, ooh, I am not even asking. In fact, that's why I love the way when you and I hang out and we're going to dinner or whatever. It's like, we're both looking at the menu and it's asking, what are you going to have? What are you going to have? And we're figuring out, and then you go, wait, let me ask. So that's always a reminder. So I go, awareness is number one, to be aware that I'm not asking. And then number two, where can I start to build that into my normal routine? And if it's first thing in the morning with my coffee, you can use it ask use your intuitions multiple times throughout the day. It's not just one time, but it's just getting into the habit of asking. And that starts with a small step. So.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, the asking is key. Really, you just have to keep asking. And hopefully at a later date, then we can have another chat about, well, okay, I'm going to ask, but how do I know? And then it's like, we'll get into how you actually can muscle test or pendulum or dose or whatever to get an answer. that you know is correct. So anyway, so that is truly all the questions I have and all the info for now that I have. Cindy, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just that, I mean, I just love this conversation so much. You and I talk about intuition a lot. I love it. I love that I've learned so much. And really, really, for me, it was that surrendering and just keep practicing. And honestly, I mean, I hope that, there was some value added to this conversation to our audience, and that we'd love to hear back, as how is your life? Watch it. Just try it. Try it for 30 days.
Try it.
And see how life changes.
Because like to me, everything's just a experiment anyway. It's just like, why am I experiment with that? It's like, try it, give it a shot. What you don't have anything to lose with it.
Right.
There's no loss. So, well, Cindy, thank you. Thank you for, like doing this with me. And, I again am Lisa Buddha, and I will put my info in the comments. So if you would like to talk any more about intuition or have a discovery call, or you can go to lisabuddha, BOUTA.com, and my info's on my website, and you can book a discovery call and be happy to talk to anybody who'd like to talk about what might be next in their life, especially women, because I really truly love working with women. And Cindy?
Yeah, so if you're interested in connecting with me, I'll put my contact information in the chat or comments. We're used to being on Facebook Live, in the chat below. And so I am the founder of Empowered Hours. I do work with, like I said, women entrepreneurs. I help with them creating habits, building out that routine, connecting. I have a community of women entrepreneurs that come together weekly, and we support and motivate and inspire each other. So if you would like some more information, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be below. Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. We both, Cindy and I, appreciate you. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. Thanks so much. Have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.